2NURFM News for our sponsor, Tile Warehouse Warners Bay. Open 7 days for your convenience.
It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Belinda De Lasheras with 2NURFM Hunter News. Newcastle ratepayers could be hit hard in the hip pocket if Council is given the green light to increase rates by almost 50% in the next 5 years. A formal application will be put to the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal, which will decide if the increase of more than $500 per annum is acceptable. Lord Mayor Nuatali Nelms says the rise is in line with other councils in the region.
You've seen a glimpse of it with the 2012 rate rise, upgrades at Blackbutt and the Coastal Revitalisation Plan. Over the last few years, again, our rate income has plateaued, and not as much as what Maitland and Lake Macquarie have done in terms of rate increases, but it is the same method of rolling rate increase for 5 years. Maitland and Lake Macquarie did into the 50s and 60% rate increases over 7 years.
However, Liberal councillor Brad Luke says the rate rise won't enhance Newcastle's renewal.
The council's not going to suddenly revitalise the city. It's actually getting businesses in there and operating is what actually revitalises the city. Increasing rates by 50% doesn't do anything to help that. It actually deters people coming into our city. And also, everyone with their home rates, on average, they'll be increasing their rates by around about $500 a year. That's a big chunk out of people's wallets.
Labor is accusing the New South Wales government of leaving the Hunter out in the cold following the announcement of its $20 billion transport infrastructure plan. The party warns up to $15 of the $20 billion to be funded through the privatisation of the state's electricity assets has been earmarked for Sydney. Shadow Minister for the Hunter, Sonia Hornery, says the government's plan is light on detail.
This infrastructure plan is lacking in detail, timeframe, specific budget. It's a bad deal, and I suggest very much to Mike Baird that he doesn't go ahead with the privatisation of electricity, because in the long term we don't benefit from the sale and we lose the benefit of the dividends from the electricity companies.
There are calls for the state government to put the brakes on plans for a new Glencore Peabody open-cut coal mine in the Hunter amid fears over the destruction of natural resources. The Lock the Gate Alliance is urging the government to reject the project application in a bid to salvage regional vineyards, farmland and water supplies. State coordinator of the Alliance, Georgina Woods, says action must be taken to address the exponential growth in regional mining.
In the Hunter, we have reached saturation point for coal mines. The viticulture industry struggles with the rising salinity levels in the water of the Hunter River, which is attributable to mining. Dairy farmers are feeling the impacts of the loss of groundwater, which the mines are also contributing to.
The University of Newcastle is this afternoon wrapping up celebrations to mark the 25th anniversary of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. The convention addresses the commitments Australia has made to children's rights and is expected to shine a light on how the Australian Human Rights Commission plans to move forward on a global scale. Professor Gillian Triggs says the Australian Human Rights Commission is a critical organisation.
Yesterday, the Family Court of Australia looked to the Australian Human Rights Commission and to advice we'd given based on the rights of a child with regard to the obligation of a parent to support their child.
A Hunter student is one of 2 recipients of Compass Housing's inaugural Grow a Star Youth Educational Scholarships awarded this afternoon. The scholarships have been awarded to students living in social housing to help pay for educational costs, including tuition fees and equipment. Grow a Star program coordinator Shane Marshall says the scholarship will give students an opportunity to improve their educational and life skills for the future.
These 2 recipients are pretty worthy. They've navigated barriers in their life, and this will give them opportunities that no doubt they would never have had before.
In finance, the All Ords is up 39 points at 53.60 and $1 Australian is buying 85.36 US cents. Now with sport, Tandi Chindovi.
The Newcastle Jets are hoping to make it 8th time lucky as they fight for their first win of the season against the Mariners in Sunday's F3 derby. The team will be looking to capitalise on last round's confidence-boosting display against the Wanderers in a desperate effort to recover from second last on the table. Jets midfielder Marcus Flores says they're more determined than ever.
We're performing okay in Wanderers. Now it's time to shine in our home and put a fight spirit up there if we want to win.
Hunter squads are expected to enjoy a greater chance at FFA glory on the back of a revised draw for Northern New South Wales football. At least 3 quarter-finalists will now come from First Division First Division and inter-district clubs, 2 from the Southern Pool, with the Northern contingent cut from 4 to 2 places to even the playing field. And trainers Shane Tritton and Lauren Panella landing a winning double in Newcastle harness racing overnight, thanks to sprinters Good Time Stride and Timmy. That's sport. I'm Tandi Chinoe.
2NURFM news time is 2:05.